Love was never the problem, the lies were. This is a prophetic message for someone who needs to hear this. There is someone listening to this message who spent a long time blaming themselves for a relationship that fell apart. You question your words, you question your action. You wondered if you could have loved harder, given more, or stayed longer. But there is something you need to hear today. Love was never the problem. The problem was the lies hiding behind the love. The problem was the truth that was kept from you. The problem was building a future on promises that were never real. Hallelujah. Thank you for joining me on my channel. If this is your first time, please click on the subscription and the notification button. And for my subscribers, I love you so very much. The relationship looked perfect from the outside. People saw the smile, they saw the photos, they saw the plans being made for the future. To everyone watching, it seems like two people building a future together, but appearance can be very dangerous. What people could not see were the small lies quietly growing in the background. At first, the lies seemed harmless. A missing detail here, a strange excuse there, a story that changed every time it was told. Whenever you noticed something unusual, you were given an explanation that sounded reasonable enough to ignore. You wanted trust, you wanted peace, you wanted to believe the person standing beside you was being honest. So you pushed your doubt aside. You told yourself you were overthinking. You told yourself every relationship has a challenge. Every relationship goes through challenges. You told yourself not to create problems where there were none. But deep down inside, something never felt right. There was always a feeling that part of the story was missing. Something started changing. People who once answered questions became defensive. Some conversation turned into argument. The moment you asked for clarity, you were accused of being suspicious. The moment you wanted honesty, you were told you were creating drama. You found yourself apologizing for questions you had every right to ask. You found yourself carrying guilt that did not belong to you. And slowly, without realizing it, you began losing confidence in your own judgment. That is what lies does. They make innocent people question themselves while protecting the person responsible for the lie. Not all at once, not in a dramatic way, just simple pieces appearing one after another, a conversation that did not match a previous story, a message that reveals more than it should have, details that expose more details, a secret connected to another secret. And suddenly, things that never made sense before started fitting together, and you were no longer looking at separate incidents. You were looking at a pattern of deception, a pattern of manipulation, a pattern that had been hidden from you far too long than you could realize. The painful part was not discovering the truth. The painful part was realizing how many chances you had given, how many chances you gave to someone who was never honest. You remembered every moment they looked you in the eye and denied what was happening. You remembered every promise, every excuse, every explanation, every time they had you feel guilty for questioning them. The truth did not break your heart because it existed. The truth broke your heart because somebody worked so hard to hide it. You wondered how they could actually do all of this. That was the moment everything changed. You stopped chasing answers. You stopped begging for honesty. You stopped trying to convince someone to value what they already had because you finally understood something important. A relationship cannot survive where trust is missing. Love cannot survive disagreement all the time. Love cannot survive difficult seasons. Sorry, love can survive disagreement. Love can survive difficult season. Love can survive mistakes, but love cannot survive continuous deception. The foundation becomes weak, fragile, and uncertain, and eventually everything collapses under the weight of dishonesty. The strange thing is that the person who lied often believe they are protecting themselves. They think the truth is the danger. They think hiding things will save the relationship. But the opposite is usually the truth. Lies become the very thing that destroyed what they were trying to keep. Lies eventually becomes what destroy what they were trying to keep. One lie requires another, then another until you are out of lies, until the person can no longer remember where the truth ends and the deception begins. And when everything finally comes into the light, the damage is much bigger than it needed to be, because trust takes years to build and only moments to destroy. Today, many people are carrying pains because someone chooses dishonesty over transparency. Some are still wondering why things ended. Some are still waiting for explanation. Some are still blaming themselves. But this message is a reminder: not every broken relationship is caused by lack of love. Sometimes love was present. Sometimes loyalty was present. Sometimes commitment was present. What was missing was honesty. And without honesty, even the strongest feeling struggle to survive. If this story speaks directly to your situation, remember this: you are not responsible for the lies someone else chooses to tell. You are not responsible for the secret they decide to keep. You are not responsible for protecting a false image that they create. You are responsible to heal, learn, and move forward with wisdom. Because one day the truth that hurts you will also set you free. And when that day comes, you will finally understand that love was never the problem, the lie was. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Love you so much, and see you in my next episode.